Hello, hello. Yes, I have softboxes. I am so excited. It's currently 1:23 in the morning. My parents are asleep and it looks like it's daylight. It's great. It is now February and yes, we are getting closer and closer to Valentine's Day. And everybody starts creating videos catered around Valentine's Day. So I thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and talk about something to do with romance. So today I'm going to talk about my experience of being blocked or banned from eHarmony. Yeah, hear me out, it's not clickbait. So last February, not now, last year, I was desperate for love, as so many of us are, so I decided to sign up to lots of dating websites for the first time. OkCupid, Elite Singles, which wasn't very elite and slightly obnoxious, Match.com, Tinder. If you're looking for romance as opposed to sex, Tinder's probably not the best place to go. I've learned that now. But that night, the last one I signed up to was eHarmony, so by that point in the evening, I was feeling really good about myself. My prospects in love were looking up. For most of these websites or apps, when you sign up, you have to create a personal profile or fill out a questionnaire about yourself. And it's just so the website gets to know who you are and what you're after. Are you looking for men, women, both? What age range are you going for? Do you like Harry Potter or Doctor Who? Did you go to university? Just stuff that sort of susses out who you are and whether or not that might be compatible with other people. And for those of you who have attempted or succeeded in taking the questionnaire initial process to get onto eHarmony, it's a very long process. It was interesting because straight away I could tell that the process was quite different to the previous profiles. It was much more deeper and intrusive, and it took a lot longer to complete. So I spent a bit of time on this questionnaire, and when I completed it, I felt really good. I was like, yes, finally, I can, get into eHarmony for the first time. I've heard so much about this. I'm excited. And then this message appeared on my screen. So yeah, I thought, okay, it's a glitch. I reset my page, refreshed, expecting to be able to log back in and get to my profile, and no, that message came up again. And for the last 11 months, that message has continued to appear every time I've tried to sign in. But going back to the night that message first appeared, in the moment I laughed about it because I am having such a hard time with love that for a website that's dedicated to dating to sort of decline me and say, hey, there is nobody out of the 700,000 people on this website that matches what you're after, that's bad. So like any normal person, I then went onto the internet to try and find out whether anybody else had had this sort of experience. And I was quite surprised. Tons of people have had this happen to them, being blocked by eHarmony. On Wikipedia it says 1 out of every 5 people is deemed inappropriate and turned away. Now sometimes it's because somebody might be underage. For example, I think the age limit on there is 21. But I was 23 when I applied, so that rules that out. Maybe it's not the right time, maybe they have too many people on the site, I don't know. But then I thought to myself, well, how long am I deemed as inappropriate? When will this ban lift? And there was no answer on the website. After searching online, it sort of became apparent that this is a long-term, if not permanent, ban. Once eHarmony deems you as inappropriate, that's it. They don't let you back in, or in at all. Sometimes people who are looking for love in this way are desperate, like me. So being turned away like that it's quite, it's a massive knock to your confidence. I know that sounds a bit stupid, but for some of us, it does feel like that. I immediately reached out to them on Twitter. I was quite angry, I won't deny. And they basically said that. And that was the end of it. They sort of like turned me away, ignored me, bye-bye. To be fair, eHarmony did tweet me last year and said that I could appeal to take it again, as if I'm some sort of criminal appealing my case. Which of course I said no to, because why would I want to appeal to a company that doesn't want me in the first place? I was also very angry about this last year, a bit more than I probably should have been. After being shunned by eHarmony, I did do lots of research online about the company, their history, their founders. I know that people and companies can change over time, but still, to then be aware of some of the history of the company, I was just, whoa. According to the internet and various sources, eHarmony has a history of discriminating against people from LGBT and also people who don't identify as Christian. Then I found some strange interviews where people high up in the company, including the co-founders, talked about how they separated those who they deemed worthy and unworthy from joining their network. And it was quite harsh and in some way they sort of discriminated, basically. In 2005, Neil Clark Warren, who was one of the co-founders, said, and I quote from the USA Today, that he rejects 16% of those who take his patented personality test because they're poor marriage prospects. So is that form of thinking still applied today? One thing Warren said was that he wanted to weed out those of us who suffer from depression or other mental disorders, and continued to say that he wanted to filter out those of us who are unhealthy, but he didn't say what he meant by unhealthy. And I think that's quite dangerous because that can mean so many different things. Do you mean unhealthy as in abusive people? Or do you mean unhealthy as in people who are unwell? Does that mean people who are currently battling diseases or things like cancer? Does that mean they're not allowed to date? Yes, I was referring to older articles, but there are forums and articles spanning eHarmony's existence, illustrating that these ideals are still held by many. It's an ongoing conversation. Even in the last year, the then CEO Warren openly expressed how he believes that strong relationships cannot be a product of mentally ill people, such as those with bipolar and depression. Also that we're burdens on our partners and we're the reasons that our spouses have bad sex lives. So because I have battled depression in my history, that then makes me unhealthy and therefore inappropriate and undateable. No. At the time I took the questionnaire, I was not on any medication, I was feeling quite low. My cat had been missing a week, so I think that played a part in my mental state at the time. But I do feel that may have been an element in me being turned away. And when I brought it up online, lots of people said that it sounded quite a legible reason why I may have been turned away, including previous employees who worked at eHarmony. In life, there is a lot of mental health stigma, and suffering from mental health problems, as well as many other things in life, does make dating difficult. Telling a potential partner you have depression doesn't always go down well. But even when I'm not depressed and I'm trying to make friends and find love, the fact that I have been depressed and it's in my history it comes back to haunt me, and it's frustrating. I don't like the idea that even in dating that can be used against me. If it is the basis for me being banned, I do think it's quite stupid because so many of us go through mental health problems. Even if every single person who has been approved onto that website was approved and showed mental stability, that doesn't mean they will always be mentally stable. So many of us go through mental health problems over the course of our lives. The idea that only healthy people can date is absurd because all of us will be unhealthy at some point. Whether it be mental health or physical health, it's gonna happen. I don't think anyone in life has that right to be able to say, you're not worthy, you're healthy, you're not healthy. I think it's okay to turn people away if they have been abusive or done something wrong, but you can't divide people before you even know them or allow them the chance. In a way, it's sort of like treating innocents like criminals. You've got to allow us the chance to find love before you turn us away. At least that's how I feel. So over the course of this year, I have been messaging eHarmony in hopes of being reinstated, sort of, but also to find out exactly what went wrong. Why was I deemed inappropriate? To which I've had very little response. And the fact I don't know whether or not my mental health may have impacted this decision to block me from their site, it just makes me angry. I want to know. In December, I wrote a massive email, sort of exploding about how I felt, covering the majority of the stuff that I've said in this vlog, hoping that that would push them over and I'd get a response. And no, a month later, nothing. I then tweeted them, asking them to reply out of, common courtesy, and eventually I got a reply, but it was a robot message, a generic message. And in the email, it did say that I could reapply, retake the quiz, despite the fact that I could still be ignored and declined again. And that's great, the fact that there's a potential there for me to rejoin the network after 11 months of being banned. I don't feel I can right now. I don't think I want to. Also, there were other dating websites to go and explore, so had a bit of fun there instead. Different location. Since recording the bulk of this video, amazingly, I've had a very short conversation with the brand new CEO of eHarmony. It ended with me asking him outright if eHarmony discriminated against various groups of people, including those who are mentally ill, and he said no. He said that. So whether they do or don't, we now have it in writing that they've said that they don't. But as of right now, I've had no confirmation as to why I specifically was rejected. And I know hundreds of others are angry at the prospect of being turned away, especially for reasons that we believe are unjustifiable. Now I'm going to jump back to my conclusion. I know this vlog has been quite weird in a way. It's a bit like a diary entry. This is what happened to me, etc. Maybe it's a bit dramatic. I just wanted to document this somewhere. I probably come across far more serious than I feel. Maybe that's a good thing. Also to explain why I don't support eHarmony, why I don't want to use their website. For those of you who were thinking of applying to eHarmony, now you know that that questionnaire initial process is very, very important. I'm not saying you should lie in that questionnaire, but just be careful, you know? If any of you have had any problems like this from dating websites, especially eHarmony, then leave a comment downstairs below, because you're not alone. As I said, 1 in 5 people get turned away. And if you are somebody that has felt very upset by being turned away, you're not alone. Everybody deserves to find love. It just takes longer for some of us than others. Before I go, don't forget to click the links either side of my face, other less serious videos than this one. So yeah, I will see you soon, everyone.